We are live on Facebook and we are live here. So welcome everybody to another ASEA Global Expansion Team Zoom. We meet every Monday night, night in Colorado, and it may be whatever time of day, wherever you are. I know Mike Beverly is joining us tonight from Florida, so it's 9 o'clock in the evening over there, and he's probably keeping nice and cool in his air-conditioned place, just like you are, Kayleen. Unlike Danny, who's out by the beach, even though that is a faux beach behind him, that is not Danny Doyle's beach. But anyway, tonight what we're going to talk about is the promotion. We're going through a double promotion right now. For those of you who are not aware, there is a Cashville promotion as well as the double fast start. And so we're going to be talking about that. The double fast start only goes for 5 more days. It will end at midnight Eastern time this coming Friday night. And so now is your time to leverage this double promotion, which is really unprecedented in the whole ASEA world. So Danny, I know you had some thoughts about leveraging it with the Fast Forward program. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I know we're a week in, guys, or just over a week in, but our strategy was to actually, because I mean, the incentive now, the fast start, the double fast start is obviously, you know, it's ties in and based with the fast forward. I mean, what we want to do is achieve the fast forward and also obviously achieve the double fast start at the same time. So what we do, we've got the whole team, our leaders, to go for the fast forward plus at the beginning of the promotion. That was not only going to give them a whole heap of cash in their pocket, but it was also going to give them a whole heap of free product. Now, we're at weekend or just over a weekend now. So if you guys haven't registered anybody, if you guys haven't brought anybody on board, the strategy would be to still try and achieve the fast forward plus by the end of this week. And if you land on the fast forward, fantastic. But what we're doing is not only getting the double fast start, not only also winning all this free product through the fast forward promotion, but we are leading, and all the statistics now from your enrollments and also from the auto ships that are going to go through next month are going to lead into the next promotion that's starting. And probably there's a lot of people on this call that haven't heard about that at this stage, but they go hand in hand, guys. I mean, enrollments are super important at any time, but you should be really taking advantage of, you know, the double fast start is something the company doesn't bring in on a regular basis. It's very, very rare. And for it to be global, for you to be able to register anybody in any market is just phenomenal. It's just super, super generous. So really make sure that you take advantage of this promotion this week. Concentrate on that, but also tied in with the fast forward and trying to achieve and win that incentive too, which, as you know, it's an institutionalized incentive that's around forever. But the fast start, the double fast start's only until the end of this week. So take advantage of that and tie them in. But yeah, go out there and achieve the fast forward plus or the fast forward, guys, because that's going to really help not only with the double fast start, but also leading into the next promotion, which is going to run for 3 months. And you're going to be able to put a lot more cash in your pocket over the next 3 months as well.
Yeah, so Danny, I reached out to Mike Beverly because if you look at the Cashville promotion, you'll see Mike at the first couple pages. So Mike's just screaming in this promotion, and I called him to see what he's doing, and he said, well, you tell him what you told me, Mike, that you just enjoy the process and you're just talking to lots of people, right? And you're muted, so let's unmute you and then we can hear what you have to say.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. There he is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I even before the Cashville was announced, I just and here's what did it. I had a really fantastic 2-hour experience with Mal Sword when he was here at Disney World with his kids, and he taught me a lot and refreshed my memory about dreams. And so I started dreaming. The very next weekend, I went and drove my dream car, which a lot of people may think is crazy, but is a Mini Cooper Countryman loaded to the hilt. But then my wife got to go drive her sports coupe Mercedes 500 SEL. So that was the first weekend of dreaming after I spent the Saturday before that with Mal. The next weekend we went and looked at $1 million to $1.5 million homes on the beach and condos. So so this was back in February. So I got burned up and excited and started getting some realistic visions about what my future could be like. So I made a decision that I was going to reach out to 60 people per day, either through text message, through Facebook, through whatever way I could, to just invite them to have a conversation with me. And I was fortunate at the same time to get on a Simon Chan training where he basically teaches people just to send out 60 messages a day with this message: may I ask you a question? And then when they respond, I go to Alan Noble's response or his question. There's been a huge breakthrough in the world of health and wellness. Everyone deserves to hear about this. What you do with it's up to you. But if I shared a 15-minute video with you about this amazing technology, would you watch it? Question mark. And every day I'm getting 5 to 15 people to respond to the, when I ask them the question, to respond. I can ask them that second question. And out of the 14 or 15 that are responding, I'm getting 3 to 8 people to watch the video. And so that's allowing me to enroll 2 to 3 people per week. And I was telling Cindy when she called me earlier, I didn't even know the perks of the cash fill program. I just went on today and found out I got 4 free nights at the hotel. I mean, come on. How much does it cost to stay at one of those places? What's the name of the hotel? It's not a cheap place. It's a nice hotel. So, I mean, if I'd have known that I was going to get that, I would have probably worked even harder. But I'm just a couple of people away from moving from the $500 cash I've already earned to $1,000. And then I've got it figured out that if I can sponsor, I think 8 or 9 more before the end of July, then I'll be into a couple of $1,000 plus the 4 free nights. So it's, I wish I'd have known that there were that many perks. I would have probably worked a lot harder the last 3 months. So
absolutely. And on top of that, Mike, you're getting the double fast start.
Yeah.
So
I've got,
with every enrollment pack that your people are buying, instead of getting what you normally earn, you're getting double that. So
right.
Your paycheck is going to be fat and happy come Friday.
Well, it is. And I didn't know, Danny, that this was international. So I'm getting ready to enroll my first person in the Philippines tomorrow, or maybe we'll do it tonight because it's already tomorrow there. So I didn't know that it was global. I just thought it was US. So I'm learning a lot by being on this call tonight.
Yeah, one action can lead to many things. I mean, you're just out there reaching out to people, enrolling people, but it's targeting the fast forward, it's targeting the cash fill, it's targeting the double, fast start. I mean, so many things. Tell me, how long have you been in the business, Mike?
I actually got on the product last April, and then about 3 months later, June, July, I started enrolling people and talking to people. And I didn't set, well, I guess I did. I ended up being the number 5 enroller in North America last year. But I didn't really start till about July last year. So not quite a year. I've been doing the business. I've been on the product a little longer, but about a year.
And how long have you been reaching out to the 60 people a day or whatever you're doing? How long have you been taking that action?
At least 3 months now. And, one of the things that I learned in that Mach 2 audible that Mal had recommended is that you got to fall in love with the process. And I was telling Ed Weens the other day, I just love, I got a process that I go by in the first couple hours every day. I send out my 60 invites, either text or through Facebook, and then just wait for the people to respond. And then I'm sending out videos on Genie Go so that I can see if they actually watched it or not. And it's interesting, the people that say, oh, I'm not interested. And I go on there and see they watch 3% of the video. So it's like, and I mean, I was telling Cindy, I had 17 no's today, 17. And when I get to about 14, this is my response. Thank you for the no. The next no that I get, I'm going to make a lot of money. So thank you. You're one of the no's I needed today. So I make it kind of fun. And I think people think I'm weird or something, but that's kind of the attitude I have. I don't care.
You can keep that posture, obviously, with what you're doing and what you're achieving. So tell us, leading up to taking that massive action, where were you in your business? What rank, and how much has your business grown since you've been doing that?
Well, I hit silver last September, maybe October, and then I kind of I got out of the action. I was being consistent, but not that active last fall, and my business fell off. And it I was telling Mal that I was being D700, bronze, consistently. But then now that I've done the massive action, things are really flying, and I'm getting some duplication too. I've taught some other people to do this and getting some duplication with it. So, but I was telling Cindy, I have such a vision now, and it's the audibles. I'm telling you, Mal said you got to spend 30 minutes a day in Audible or more, 30 minutes to an hour in the Audible. And I do. I mean, there's some days I do 2 hours in Audibles, and I love to take the book and read along with the Audible. So it's really kind of a dual thing. But I've got such vision now for where we're going to be, not only everybody on this call, but the company, me personally, a year from now, it's going to be outrageous where we're going to be. I believe that.
Absolutely.
Mike,
Yeah, I mean, go for it, Cindy, because I could keep going because I want to get into Mike's head. So you go for it.
I was just going to say that, I mean, if I had known Mike for a while, I've known Mike for a little while, and I'm Mike, I can't get over how much younger you look now than you do when I first met you. I mean, if I was your friend who'd been walking around Florida with you, I'd be like, what the heck are you doing? And I want whatever he's doing, because look at this guy.
Well, I ran into a friend of mine I hadn't seen in about 10 years. I guess it was January. And he says, Mike, I've never seen you look so good. And I said, I went over to St. Augustine and jumped in the Fountain of Youth. You need to come and try it. So I was just joking with him, but he's still not on the product. So, hey, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, so.
Yeah, we say you can lead someone to a sea, but you can't make them drink.
That's it. That's it. I was telling Cindy a story earlier when we were talking that I bought my brother and sister-in-law who live in Salt Lake City, 10 miles from ASEA, 2 cases last year as I was going. I just, loved them, wanted them to get on it. And my wife and I went out there in March for a week to visit some of the national parks, and we got to tour ASEA and the plant and all that while we were there. And in their pantry, they had 7 bottles of the 8 bottles I bought them last September in their pantry. And my sister-in-law was complaining about migraine headaches. She's having migraine headaches every day. And I said, Nina, come over here. So we went to ASEA Healthy Self. I showed her some testimonies about migraines. So she started using the product. And 2 weeks ago, she ran out. So my wife and I went down to see David Silverman Thursday night. And as we were leaving that meeting, she calls me from Salt Lake and she says, Mike, can you get me back on my auto ship, or get me on auto ship, because I'm having headaches again. I've been out of my product for 2.5 weeks and I'm beginning to have migraines every day again. So now she's back on auto ship. But sometimes people just have to suffer a little bit to appreciate what they actually have. So it's interesting. But Cindy and I are going to have a little survey to find out how many bottles are in people's pantries or closets across the world that are that are sitting there not being used.
That's right. And the thing is that there is more and more awareness happening out there. I mean, we're in the middle of a sampling campaign right now because we're not in the convincing business. It's exhausting to be in the convincing business. And so once people have an experience, they know it's real. And so, I mean, follow-up is probably more important in this business than a lot of businesses, because look, if you're buying eyelashes, you buy eyelashes, you put them on, and they either make you look better or they don't. If you're doing some other product, you take it and you either lose weight or you don't. You know what I mean? It's measurable that way. But this technology is a little slippery because it's the most massive discovery that has ever been on the planet at this time. We're breaking new ground. And so, we have to handhold people because it takes a while And I don't know how your experience was in the beginning for our heads, our brains to get into this technology, because we want to shove this technology into a bucket that already exists. And there is no bucket for this technology. This is a brand new bucket. So people try to put it in the weight loss bucket. They try to put it in the athletic performance bucket. They try to put it in the anti-aging bucket. They try to put it in the health and wellness bucket, the, antioxidant bucket. This is none of that. And so, this is so special and so different. And I mean, I was telling Mike today that we ran into a woman with the Telluride Film, our Bluegrass Festival that we just attended, who has had those bottles in her pantry for something like 11 years now. She got them from an athlete that was one of the athletes that was originally promoting ASEA, Rich Roll, who's a really good friend of hers, and who was on the front of Men's Health as the one of the again, got on ASEA, started working out like a freight train, and anyway, evidently he loved the product himself, but he never educated her about why it tasted like chlorine. And so she, being an Ayurvedic practitioner, was worried about the chlorine and just kind of left it in the closet and forgot about it until we ran into her in Telluride and said, okay, now let's just give you a little education here. So she's, oh my gosh, well, does it go bad? I'm going home and drinking that stuff immediately. So there are things that bring companies into momentum, and this company has so many things in place that when this thing pops, it's going to pop so huge. So yeah, Mike, you're planting 60 seeds a day. I mean, I just talked to Jackie Wetzler, who's done something like 4, and maybe I can ask Bo for specifics, 4 something like back-to-back fast forwards, and she's in the middle of a fast forward plus. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm just talking to lots of people. So she's doing the same thing you are, Mike. She's just out there turning over stones and seeing who's coachable, hungry, and willing to do what it takes. So good for you. Good for you. And I think you're absolutely right. When this thing pops, it's going to pop huge. And the fact that the whole world will want this at some point, and we're the only ones that have it, is something that, I mean, it's hard to metabolize for most people. So.
Well, and I am so grateful to Ed and Rebecca and to Chris and Wendy Caldwell for sending me the product when I was really in bad health shape last year. I was so anemic, I couldn't function with sleep. My latest post on the Healthy Self. A year ago, my cholesterol was 237. Now it's 120. I've got the best blood work I've had in probably 15, 20 years. My doctor just took me off of 2 medications last Tuesday. And I feel better than I felt in decades. I really do. But I thank God for this technology. And I know Danny's got an amazing story as well for how his health turned around. But it's a lifesaver for me. So I'm passionate about it, obviously.
You're looking good. You're looking good, Mike. I mean, you can tell you're glowing, and we can normally tell the people that are on the product and the people that aren't on the product. Thing I love about what we have is, we can become an associate, and from the very first day, we can build a global business. 2 incentives there at the moment where we can utilize those incentives globally, obviously not Cashville, that's specific to the US. But with what you're doing, reaching out to 60 people every single day, anybody that is at any stage of their business, even coming on board from day one, can do the exact same thing that you're doing. It's the people that consistently do it are the people that are going to grow their business the quickest. And that's where the mindset comes in. That's where the growth comes in. That's where Mal's talking about the audibles, to keep you on track, to keep that action, that daily action going all day, every day.
Right. He told me, he said, not everybody will do the audibles, but the ones that will stay in the game, and they will have the right mindset to move forward. And so I've consistently 7 days a week been on 30 minutes to 2 hours of Audible.
Hey, Mike,
Or
some people are asking, which audibles are you listening to? Which audibles are you listening to?
well, the best one that I've ever listened to, and I've done network marketing since I was a sophomore in college. The best one I've ever listened to is Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire. The best one. And I understand that's the number one Audible that Mal recommends for everybody first day they're in the business. Correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, but that's what he told me.
We were lucky enough. I think you guys were there too in Lanai, the diamond trip. We went to Richard's place, and he literally gave us the books and signed them to us at his own house. It was
Right.
amazing.
Right. Yeah. And his 4-year career is really good. I mean, I've been going through Think and Grow Rich. I think I'm now on my third reading of Think and Grow Rich, and I've got that. There's not an Audible, but you can get the downloads from Nightingale Conant on Think and Grow Rich. Beach Money is another good one. Born to Be Rich, I think is that by Bob Proctor. I'm not sure. That's another good one, but absolutely my favorite I've ever listened to is Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire. I was at the gym today for an hour working out, and I started it over again. This is probably the 7th or 8th time that I will have listened to that book on Audible since February. So it's amazing.
There's only one thing you can do is change the color of your hair. It'll do everything else for you, but it's a matter of
I don't know, Danny. We have a woman in Hawaii that she had this glorious gray hair, and she started drinking Sia, and her hair started growing in black. And so it would take a double. They would go, wait a minute.
I better start drinking some more.
We had a guy in Australia. He was from China somewhere anyway. Totally grey. I mean, his hair suited him. Totally silver fox. Anyway, he started rubbing the gel into his hair and drinking the Sia. And 1 month later, I caught up with him, and it was salt and pepper. It didn't suit him. It just looked strange. It's just amazing how the black was coming back.
Well, and look at Dr. Dick Walker. I mean, Dr. Dick Walker is a different person. I mean, when he joined ASEA, he didn't have hair up here. And I mean, and now he has hair there, and it's brown. It's, I mean, unbelievable. His difference, if you look at him when he joined ASEA, when he started, before he took ASEA, now what he looks like now, even though he's, I don't know, 8 years older or something like that, he looks completely different. He looks like you, Mike. He's just getting younger and younger, even though chronologically he's getting older in the birthday book,
His passion for this product is just amazing. I love to hear him. He was on about a month ago and gave a really good expose about anyone over 50 needs to double up. Instead of 4 ounces a day, you need to do 8. And I've been on 8 for a year, but after listening to David last Thursday night, I'm going to 12 now every day.
Come on, Mike. Break out. I'm on 16. I've been on 16 for 6 years now.
Okay, I'm with you.
Let's do it. We got 2 incredible platinums on this call too, Stevie and Kayleen. Any input as far as the double fast start? Anything you guys want to add to this conversation? More than welcome.
Well, what I would add, it's Mike, I love what you're saying because, it's also important to do things that are duplicatable. And we've actually ironically been doing the same thing with our team last week we had him drill the Alan Noble pattern that he's teaching. If you log on to his Discover ASEA webinar that happens in 30 minutes, and just drilled that and said, okay, guys, now go out there and use that. And the beauty of that pattern of would you watch the 7-minute video? For those of you that don't know, the 7-minute video is the overview video that's on realredoxresults.com. So if you go into that web page and you click on the overview video, which is the first video, you can get the link on your cell phone or on your computer, and you send it to the person with the password. And the password is Redox, REDOX lowercase. And then the person watches that 7-minute overview, and then they're literally in a gold mine of testimonies on the page, and the end of the video orients them to now go look at the testimonies. And you have over 100 testimonies, and they're already right there on the website. So getting people to be exposed more and believe more that it might help them quicker is what we're finding, because they watch that video and then they automatically get curious. Oh, wow, look, here's something about joint discomfort, or, you know, whatever. So it is a really cool, duplicatable, you know, way to get people exposed faster, with the idea that, you know, most people aren't going to buy the first time they hear about it. They need a few times to be exposed and to think about it and learn about it and stuff like that.
You know, as I listen to this, it makes me think of Chuck Funky spoke with us at a national convention, the last national convention I think we were on, and he talked about a certain theory or theorem about when people are being watched, they work and perform better. Okay, but here's the deal. What I'm hearing from Mike is, well, here's the results from Mike. Action's the answer to being scared. It's the answer to being stagnant. It's the answer to being broke. Action begets action. And when you know the score, you're able to, you know, assess your resources and move forward in a better light. But the bottom line is when you're confident, as you hear Mike, his posture, his confidence, and more convicted, then you don't have to do what Tyler was talking about in next level marketing, which is start convincing people. Mike's not there begging people to listen to, you know, to watch a video or something. He's saying, hey, there's been a change in the health and wellness business, a big technology. If I sent you a 15-minute video, would you watch it? Someone says no, guess what? Here's the other deal. It's coming over Facebook. You guys aren't sitting there getting smashed in your face or anything to that effect. So what Cindy and I learned today from a training we were on from Eric Worre is it relates to Mike, because Mike is actually watching himself. He's being self-responsible, right? And what that's called, guys, is character. And when you do the things when nobody's looking, what's going to happen is you're going to succeed through the business. And what Mike's doing is fantastic, because like Danny was saying earlier, you have, I don't care. The question is, will you? What's your character and what's your wish and dream in ASEA and for yourself and for your life and for the future of this whole project? I just wanted to share that because I think all of them together, they all meld together so well.
And
sorry, Mike, I just want to repeat that because you hit the nail on the head. Probably the best bit of advice that anybody could ever give with what you just said. It's what we do, what anybody does when people aren't watching, when people aren't looking. That is what's going to take your business to another level. I mean, we can be out here, we can be on these Zooms and yeah, great, fantastic, yeah, do this, that, and the other. But it's what I do when I'm turning this off. It's what Mike's doing when he actually jumps off this call. That would be honestly, the best advice that anybody could ever have. It's what you do in the background when people aren't looking.
Absolutely. The other point that was brought up today is that if you really want to assess character, some people think that character is really ascertained in the face of adversity. And what she was saying, she said, I beg to differ. You give somebody some power and you'll start to see their character. So what happens to some people in some companies, network marketing as well as traditional companies, is they get a little bit of power, they get a rank, they get a big paycheck, they start to really understand geometric progression, reproductive residual income, the power of compounding, the power of leverage, and they start getting paid, you know, numbers that they've never been paid before, paychecks on a regular basis that they feel like, whoa, holy smokes, what the heck's going on? And, you know, instead of becoming more humble, more of a servant, more, you know, I got to help my team succeed, you know, that kind of attitude, they become the ego-centered person as opposed to the, look at this is for real. The more people we help succeed, the more successful we're going to be. So anyway, you give somebody a little bit of power, you really start to see their character.
Yeah, great point. And for me, I'm always sort of keeping in that survival mode, you know, getting up in the morning like I still need to put food on the table and pay bills. And if I keep that mindset, I know that I've got to get up early and not waste any time and help as many people as possible. keeping that income generating activity, the more that we can produce financially. And it's not all about the money, but we're getting product into people's hands. So just remain hungry. Just remain hungry. No matter what level you are, how comfortable you are, how much money you're making, stay hungry.
Absolutely. You know, I was looking at a thing on Facebook today, and the question was, if you didn't get paid for what you're doing, would you keep doing it? And honestly, my answer is no, because I do have to put food on the table. I do have to pay, mortgages, and I do want to travel the world. I got a big, vision board and a big list of things to do. And if I couldn't make money doing ASEA, I think it's a great company, but I couldn't afford to do it, So I think this double fast start promotion is so generous for the company. And what incredible timing to do it as we're going into the summer months. And listen, maybe the heat is a blessing. If it's 100 degrees where you live, go inside and make some phone calls. Get on the computer for a little while. I was listening to Jordan Adler the other day, and he said, one of my latest pet peeve is people ask me, are you doing network marketing full-time or part-time? And he said, well, that's a ridiculous question, because if you're really doing network marketing full-time, what are you spending? 2 hours a day? I mean, really? I mean, come on, let's be real. So, it's an incredible industry once people understand it. This is an incredible company in an incredible industry. And as Mal Sword says, I mean, this is so massive. We'll never see this again in our lifetime. It's that massive, but it's so big and so different. And that difference is sustainable, and that sustainable difference gives us a huge advantage in the marketplace that most people can't absorb the massive opportunity that's right in front of them, right in front of their fingertips. And if they did, there wouldn't be bottles of ASEA in people's pantry, period. So
many stories like that, so many stories.
Right.
But once they find out what it is, they kick themselves that they've kept it in the cupboard for so many years.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen, we're at the end of the half hour. Let's just go around and just see if you guys have any last words, final words. We've got 5 more days of this promotion. Stevie, I don't know if you want to unmute yourself, but do you have any last words of advice for people in the last 5 days of this promotion?
I've got way too much ADD and too little time to be able to fit anything I've got to say into this. I'm just sitting here in awe of everything that you've been saying, and really been enjoying what you've been saying, Mike, and inspired by what you've been describing that you've been doing. You so many secret sources you poured into this mix today, and I really appreciate you. One of the sayings that I've adopted is, because Mal Sword's a great mentor of mine too. And one of the sayings I've adopted is, an idle mind is the devil's workshop, and white space on your calendar is his playground. And you've got that covered between the audibles. That is a big thing, because if I don't have something better to think about, what am I thinking about? And audibles take care of that. That's my armor. That's my bulletproof to any negativity that's coming in here from out here. And then, activity absorbs anxiety, right? And, if everyone on this Zoom has picked up one thing from listening to all of these leaders, and right to the top, when Tyler Norton talks, the common thread you're going to see is high integrity and high activity. Big secret. So yeah, thank you everyone for all of the valuable input that you've given me today.
Absolutely. We've always heard that if you're in your head, you're behind enemy lines. So, you got to align those 6 inches between your ears, and the audibles certainly help. So, Kayleen, what is your parting advice for the last 5 days of this promotion?
Holy cow, just to keep it simple, I want to say ditto. But yeah, obviously, I mean, it's all about outflow, and it's all about focus. And I think when you work from home, sometimes that can be the challenge of staying focused on the income producing activity. And so I remember Eric Worre saying you can sort of trick your mind by just really breaking it down into short segments. It might even be for 30 minutes, I'm going to do this. Check it off. Okay, for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to do this. So if your mind's really working against you, that's what I do. I break it down into smaller segments where I feel like I can focus and have a win. So
there you go. You make it psychoduological, right?
yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. Bo, what are your parting words of wisdom?
I don't know. I keep going back to these fantastic trainings we've been getting and listening to Mike. I want to give you kudos in the sense that, one of the statements we heard today is that a leader is one who knows the way, models the way, and shows the way. And following the system is wonderful, but showing others how to follow the system is going to equal your success. And you mentioned today how that's duplicating some in your business. And I think we need to all know that when people come on board, they do not know what this is, right? This is not the environment they're used to when they're an employee for someone else. And if we don't show them what to do or give them at least some assignments to go through a process so that they can succeed, guess what? They're not going to succeed. They're not going to be around for long. So remember that a leader is one who knows the way, models the way, and shows the way.
Excellent. Mike, what are your parting words of wisdom?
Well, the other audible and book I'd recommend is by the guy we've been talking about, Eric Worre, Go Pro. And the first fast forward I did during this 3-month run, I went to the gym and I hadn't listened to this audible. So I turned it on. It just happened to be on chapter 7 about follow up and getting your new associates started. And so I had these 6 or 7 new people, that were there. And so I basically transcribed everything he said, and I have it on a follow-up sheet. I can't put my fingers on it right now, but then I call them up and I say, okay, based on what you know so far, and I ask those questions of how to get started and how many hours and what their goal is, what would you need to make on a part-time basis to make this worth your time? And so out of those 7 people that were, associates, I had another preferred customer. I've gotten 5 of them engaged, and right here, it came because I was at the gym and I hadn't listened to that in a while. And I know it was a God thing to say, okay, you need to listen to chapter 7, but that's where it was queued up in the audible. And I'm doing my weights and going through my exercises, and I'm going, oh my gosh, this is what I've missed on all those other people that I sponsored last year. I didn't get them started properly and didn't get, what their goals and what their dreams were to help them get started. So again, another audible, another book, that's where all the information's there. We just have to access it.
Absolutely. I'm listening to a book on tape right now called Good to Great by Jim Collins. And he's talking about the best companies out there. He's comparing foxes to hedgehogs. And the difference between hedgehogs and foxes is hedgehogs make a complicated concept really simple. And foxes still, try to, figure out how to, do it fancy. But the hedgehog simplifies the deal. And he said, if you take that into the corporate world, you can take it into the network marketing world, people who have that gift that can take a complicated scenario like ASEA and simplify it are the ones that soar. So excellent. Thanks so much, Mike. Danny, what are your parting words?
Congratulations to Mike, setting an incredible example for all of us and for your team. Keep up the great work. You're going to be at the top of this company in no time, mate. My strategy, I'm going to put as many people in this week as possible, but moving beyond this week when the double fast start finishes, I'm going to be subsidizing the double fast start with continuing to put more people in because other commissions will come into play. So I'm not going to stop bringing people into the business, keeping in mind too, this month, all the auto ships going into next month. And I like pulling every single cent out of this compensation plan incentive, guys, and that's how you should be looking at it too. There's a lot of great cash on offer the next 3 months from the next incentive that's coming into play. So based on enrollments, based on auto ships next month and for the next 3 months, just enroll as many people as possible all of the time for the next month, this month, and the next 3 months. Very, very important to really maximize the new incentive that's coming in.
Absolutely. And, Mike Beverly is a plugged in associate. He's a leader in ASEA. And as you heard tonight, Mike was a little bit, gray on, hey, I didn't know it was a global promotion. And man, I didn't even know this was happening. And I didn't realize I was going to get double my money. And so communication with your team is key, because just because you're plugged in does not mean that they're plugged in. So make sure your team knows what's going on and knows that they can also leverage this promotion that's going on until Friday, as well as the Cashville promotion that will be ongoing until September. So anyway, it's great to be with you guys tonight. Have an incredible evening, the rest of your day, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods. Stay cool out there, and we'll talk to you next Monday. Bye, everybody.